Hello and namaste to all the lovely people on our who are our subscribers and the audience. Welcome to another exciting episode of Entab presents CampusCare EdTalks, an exclusive platform where we invite the stalwarts of education industry to share their years of experience and insights with us. So now let me quickly introduce Entab to you. With an experience of more than 2 decades, Entab has been associated with over 1,500 schools across India, evolving them to become new age digital campuses by providing them mature and futuristic ERP, CRM, and mobile apps. Now, in today's session, we'll discuss about the unsung heroes of our schools, the teachers, staff, admin department, and all the other people that contribute their best to create learning institute like a school. And the wave of pandemic we all know has not been easy on anyone, but how the educators around the world have come together and kept the learning process going. So now to share this valuable insight on the same, we have an exclusive speaker with us, Ms. Debika ma'am. She is the director principal of the JBCN International School Borivali in Mumbai, and for her contribution to the field of education for more than 20 years, ma'am has received the iconic Leadership Award 2020 along with the Vocational Excellence Award, Progressive Principal of the Year Award, Community Leader Award, and many more. We are honored to have you here, ma'am. Welcome to Campus Care Talks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, ma'am, now let's start our webinar. So, ma'am, we know in the wave of pandemic, getting familiar to technology and understanding how to use it for teaching has been a very unique and learning experience for our teachers too. So, would you like to share any incident where a teacher from your school has an extra mile to teach?
Thank you very much, first of all, and good evening to everybody. I am glad that you have asked me this question, and I am going to answer the question by saying that I can't give you one example. I am sorry because there are so many examples where teachers have taken that extra mile. In this situation, I think teachers are the ones who have been the unsung heroes because they have just decided that there is a crisis. There are children involved in this crisis. So teachers have done so much. Their days are longer than usual. They've given up their free time for planning, preparation, and assessment because they don't want children to suffer for one whole year. They have been doing this. Even though they are isolated in a bubble with their children in these virtual sessions, teachers have not lost their creativity. They still manage some simple things like field trips. So my primary teachers, they have taken children on field trips to different countries. They have taken children on field trips to zoos in different parts of the world. They have, I think, just become more and more creative. The first few weeks, even though these were very difficult for everybody, they did not just get used to planning more lessons. They had to actually get reacquainted with managing classroom behavior because the virtual scenario was new for everybody. They had to get used to a different system of marking. They had to struggle with the restraints of COVID that they individually had to go through. They had families that needed care. They had their own children who needed their attention. The anxiety, the exhaustion, the fear, the overstretching of limits, the mental distraught, including all this and taking all this in their strides. I think each and every teacher went the extra mile. They had to deal with not just the learners in their classroom, because they were going into homes. They had to also deal with parents' fears. There were many instances where there was anxiety on the part of the pupil. There were children with increased mental health issues because of the whole COVID situation. They had to plan worthwhile sessions, at times struggling to support their own families. And the best thing that happened, I think, that everybody realized that schools are doing such a big job that parents came up and they started sending in messages saying that they were grateful to the teachers, they were grateful to the school for the resilience and the commitment that is shown in supporting children through pandemics. I have had innumerable messages from parents coming in talking about the amazing work that they see. In fact, earlier there used to be a time where parents said that my child doesn't come home and tell me what happened in the class, especially for the younger children. But these are the times when parents actually got to see what the child does in school, and the appreciation has been boundless. In fact, this year I am very proud to say my school won the Parent Choice Award, and we are first in the country. And I think it is because parents appreciated the work and the effort and the creativity and the innovation and the thoughtfulness that the teachers brought to their homes. So the only thing that was missing, I think, during the pandemic in our case was the campus. Everything else that makes the school, the bond between the teachers and children, the learning that needs to happen in the school has been taken forward only because of teachers who have walked that extra mile. So I'm sorry, I can't give you just one teacher's name. I sit and tell you the names of each and every teacher and everything that they did.
Ma'am, absolutely. I totally, I think that, when people say that students were under stress, I think teachers were more under stress because both the families, so many families during the pandemic were judging them. Even their own family was judging them how they are teaching in, on in online
Absolutely.
classes. Then we compare. Then we can talk about the student whose, students were also judging their own teachers. Their parents are also judging, and in most cases, I've heard that the dada dadi are also sitting with the students and they're saying, okay, how your teacher is teaching you.
Yeah, yeah. That has been something that, but now the year has gone. I think these were the first few weeks of struggle. After that, the teachers, being the magicians that they are, have managed to influence everyone and taken things forward in the most positive manner possible in under these circumstances.
Ma'am, that I totally agree with, because the student engagement, the teachers have played a really great part in that. You have to, they engage the student, each and every student they've engaged in their online classes, whether by doing something creative or the one that you just mentioned about that, taking virtual zoos around the world.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
ma'am, we know that it won't be wrong to say that teachers today use technology with ease, whether
Yes.
to be, whether they are communicating, whether they are assessing for, the assignments or for admissions. So, ma'am, do you agree that technology has been a great support and learning experience for them during this transaction?
Absolutely. I think if this had happened at any other time in the history of mankind, the blow to schools and children of learning age would have been much more, only because technology has reached a level where we could focus on the fact that we need to move forward in a different direction, and technology has supported us. That's why the year was in some manner bearable. Uh, most teachers for quite some time now have been talking about the education system, and the fact that it was losing its relevance in some manner. The disruption that came this year has forced us and shaken us, and made us think about all the different ways in which we can overcome these traditional academic skills like rote learning and focus more on critical thinking, more on adaptability, more about the skills that prepare us for the future. And technology has definitely helped us. I think a lot of these areas will stay with us. I'm talking about something as simple as parent interaction. Earlier, when we talked about parent-teacher meetings, the parent had to take a day off from office. Sometimes the fathers couldn't come. Sometimes they were stuck in traffic and could not finish. Could not reach everything, and everything was over before the parent reached us. The parent interactions have become a lot more meaningful. It is easier for both parents to spend those 15 minutes speaking to the teacher because they don't have to take out time, which is half a day, 3 hours, 4 hours, just to drive to school and get into traffic. It has made associations a lot more meaningful. It has given us a lot more time to speak about the important stuff. So, when we are talking about skills, when we are talking about assessment, the focus in all schools, I find, has moved away from examination and it has become more and more focused on formative assessment. So, we use tools like Kahoots, we use tools like Mentimeter, we use tools which allow us to do formative assessment so easily. It has brought in a new meaning to learning and moving forward in this new age. I think technology has been a big boon in this case. We grew up writing about essays about whether technology is a bane or a boon. I think technology has proven itself to be a boon because we have now understood how to use it meaningfully.
Right, ma'am, absolutely correct. So, ma'am, as all this time and transition from offline to online, and then now online to offline has brought a lot of stress with itself. So, in
Yeah.
your school, do you conduct any such activities to relieve the stress of your teachers? And even I'll talk about students as well in this case.
Yes. So when the pandemic first started, we realized that these are unprecedented things that are happening in the world. And I have a very strong well-being team. We call it the well-being team. It is led by one of the foremost members of Mumbai. She leads a team of 7 people in our school. So we are one of those schools which is blessed with a very strong team. This team of 7 people, they started first working with the teachers because when the pandemic started, we went into a mode where we had to overnight switch from physical campuses to virtual campuses. And the teachers were extremely stressed, not because they had to work extra or think more or create more, but because they were also fearful of an uncertain future. So, my discussion right at the beginning of this was with this team of 7, and we came up with what we call a mindful journey to well being, and we have a name for it. We call it Swasti. So this team, they worked with teachers and they started giving them tips, not just for the classroom, because we understood that behavior management in classrooms might become a problem. Uh, they gave them tips about managing their own self, managing their families, managing their own emotions before taking on the emotions of the students in the classroom. We also came up with a year-long program for parent well-being because we realized that the parents need a lot of hand-holding, the parents will need a lot of support. We came up with ideas where we told parents simple things like how to have fun with your child during the pandemic lockdown without using screens. So we told them that earlier they would come to school and come home and then start playing on screens or watching television and having fun. Now that the school is on screen, you will have to have fun and find new ways of engaging your children, which is offline. So we came up with a whole lot of a long plan for that. Each and every classroom has regular sessions for well-being, for life skills, for general creativity and positiveness. And we call it the Swasti program. I think that really helps us because it gives us something beyond the screen and it tells us that whatever we need to bring an end to our stress and anxiety can be found within us. So, taking us out of the world and helping us to be with ourselves is the focus of the Swasti program in our school, and it is really helping and working. In fact, the team has also come up with a well-being plan for back to school. Since we are at a stage where we are planning how to bring learners and teachers back to school, whether it's a hybrid model or it's a, a virtual model or a combination or things like that. So since we are planning that, our well-being team has also planned a back to school homecoming well-being uh, structure. So we are focusing a lot of focus on mindfulness. Yes, and I think
That's
it is needed.
That's wonderful, ma'am. So, ma'am, as we are at the end of our webinar, you being the leader and also in the education industry since a long time, what insights of teaching profession would you like to give to our new upcoming teachers?
Uh, what insight?
Yes, ma'am.
Say the words which we have often spoken about, which mean a lot to all teachers. What makes a good teacher? We keep saying that we should be lifelong learners. And I think the COVID times have taught us the importance of being lifelong learners. It is not just a phrase or some cliche to be spoken about from time to time. It is actually a way of living. I think lifelong learners is something that we have to hold on to in its true meaning. Because even at this time, when we think that we might be ending the war with COVID and come out winners, I think the future still needs a lot of attention, and this lifelong learning will perhaps help us to navigate the future.
Absolutely, ma'am. And thank you so much, Debika ma'am, for coming on board with us and sharing all the insights
Thank
about
you very
teachers
much.
and our unsung heroes, and and giving us your valuable time. And to all the viewers who have joined in today, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for inviting.